How is it going today, my lazies? Today we're going to be discussing a theory about what Fugaku's Mangekyo abilities could be. I'm going to be using the abilities of other Mangekyo users to give a better hypothesis on what I believe his abilities were, and even dive into his moniker of Wicked Eye. Now let's dive in. To understand how Mangekyo abilities work, we must understand why they work the way that they do. For instance, the person that we see first using Mangekyo is Itachi. Learning his story, we learn that he was forced to slaughter his clan and keep the secret. His abilities are Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi. Amaterasu turns anything it comes in contact with, which parallels the fact that Itachi has this burning secret eating him up and burning for the rest of his life. Tsukuyomi is an inescapable illusion controlled by time, which parallels his desire to create a utopia ever since he got his Mangekyo. Every second, minute, hour, day, week, ever since he got his Mangekyo, he's been thinking about ways to create this utopia. Every moment of his life is him trying to create it. But then reality sets in, showing him endless pain that can feel like it lasts an eternity, when in reality, it could just be a second of real time passing. This is how Itachi's power works, based on his strong emotions. Further adding to his abilities, Mangekyo users also get a Susanoo, with special weapons correlating to their emotional state. Itachi's weapons are the Totsuka Blade and Yatamura. The Yatamura blocks all attacks, and the Totsuka Blade sends people to a hellish world of drunken stupor. The Yatamura was created from Itachi's position as a spy most of his life. This is a complete reflection of that time as a spy, since you can't make any personal connections with your target that hinder your mission, forcing you to shield yourself from anything that could come back to harm you. Hence, the shield that blocks all attacks. The fact that Itachi feels consumed by his lifelong mission can make him feel like he's in a drunken stupor, living a double life and keeping his composure, as his overall mission keeps him sane for all these years undercover, thus creating the Totsuka Blade. It's also fair to mention the Yasuga Magatama, as it's a staple of his Susanoo as well, although it's not used as frequently as the other abilities. The beads are representation of Itachi holding the pieces of his life together with a thin thread, keeping him sane. When analyzing the abilities of Sasuke, we find that he initially gets Amaterasu from Itachi, but after learning his story, he gains the ability of flame control itself. Why would Sasuke keep the Amaterasu if that technically wasn't his ability to begin with? Well, learning that his revenge and hatred were misplaced, causing a mental breakdown, Sasuke finds a new burning desire for vengeance. But then he learns to control that anger and direct it at the people he feels deserve it. This creates his Amaterasu. Then, as shown with Killer B, he learns to control it since his hatred is properly focused now. With his Susanoo, Sasuke creates a bow, arrow, and a flame control sword. The flame control sword is a direct correlation to Sasuke seeing himself as a pillar of undying hatred at the time he gets his EMS, but his arrow is a bit different. His arrow represents his desire, clashing with his morals. As seen in the fight with B and skirmishes during the Taka recruitment, including Deidara, Sasuke shows that he has no desire to kill anyone, but is a intended target. The arrow is focused emotion targeted at the person the user decides deserves to feel the pain he's feeling. A fun note is that looking at Sasuke's Sharingan ability, it allows for replacement, which correlates to his new ideals as he's trying to replace the ninja world with his version of utopia. Just something to ponder. When observing Shisui's ability, we learn that his ability controls targets completely. Kodo Matakami is the ability Shisui unlocks after learning that he's not in control of his destiny as a part of the Anbu. He learns his present and future are all controlled by the state of the village. His desire to put the village above himself and create a new world was possibly the strongest in the series, considering there's no counter to his ability at all, no matter the power a person has. His ability is a result of his strong resolve to control the fate of the world. Shisui's Susanoo has wings and a drill. These are manifested due to Shisui wanting to ascend past the dark world he's in. The drill is from his hard desire to drill his ideals into the people he meets, as we see from the interactions with Shisui, even in the alternate timelines. While observing Madara's abilities, we learned the main ability is Limbo, but it's not stated that it's a part of Madara's Mangekyo abilities. He will get a video on this as well, but for now, let's observe his Susanoo. His Susanoo has two stages, with both stages having sabers and a sword. His sabers most likely stem from his desire to make everyone see the light, even if he has to use that light in a forceful way. They're created from his delusion of seeing himself as the pillar to salvation. His sword has to be in direct correlation to his superiority complex, as he sees the full Susanoo as transcendent, meaning his sword is most likely the Heavenly Blade, Excalibur, or some Heavenly Blade variant from Japanese mythology. Madara's desire to be above everyone in the world is a direct correlation to his perfect Susanoo. He sees himself as the savior, so of course the name will reflect the ideal. Madara also uses the Yasuka Magatama, so scroll back and listen to that explanation if you forgot it. Obito and Kakashi get a joint spot as they share a pair of Sharingan, and Kakashi is the one that gets the Susanoo. For the abilities, we get Kamui, but different variations of it. Kamui in itself is the world that connects both characters together as they are apart. This could be why the eyes parallel each other, with one using close range and the other long range. Obito's Kamui is close range because he keeps all of his bonds close to him, causing him to try to create a utopia in the first place, as seen with how Obito explains himself to Kakashi, and even what he says after seeing Rin die, claiming the world is hell now, since the thing he held closest to him is gone. In parallel, we have Kakashi's Kamui being long range, as he always holds people at a distance, but learns to connect with those people, as we see throughout his childhood arcs up to where he is today. These correlate to their personalities as well, as Obito was extroverted and wanted to get close to people, while Kakashi wanted everyone to stay out of his way, yet ends up connecting with the people he keeps at a distance. As for the Susanoo, the weapon of choice is Shuriken. This is a beautiful correlation to what Kakashi has gone through, as, if you've ever watched the series, Shuriken don't kill anyone. They're basically the Magikarp of ninja tools, the Sakura memes of the ninja tools. They're practically useless, so the fact that Kakashi is using this as his weapon of choice shows that he viewed himself as useless, especially during the fight against Kaguya, but his connection to those close to him make him a type of untouchable powerful force. hence the useless weapon turning into Kamui Shuriken as untouchable weapons. Now that I've outlined the fact that Mangekyo abilities are linked to the user's inner truths, what would be Fugaku's inner truth? Looking through the scenes he's in, we see that after his friend died, he despised war. He even went out of his way to personally show Itachi a war zone to convince him not to follow the path of violence. This pacifistic nature is what created the massive hate involved in creating Amaterasu. People tend to believe that Amaterasu or Tsukuyomi were passed down from Fugaku to his sons, but there's no evidence these abilities are linked to specific heritage, as we see that Sasuke probably wouldn't have had Amaterasu if not for Itachi specifically implanting it in him. We have to dive deeper into the mind of Fugaku to truly understand what his abilities could be. We know for a fact that war changed him, as we have a scene where Itachi confronts him about the coup, and Fugaku shows Itachi what would happen if he revealed his Mangekyo, then suggested they work together to create a bloodless revolution. So we see that Fugaku is trying to find compromise from both sides. He even suggests controlling the higher-ups instead of killing them, meaning one of his abilities has to be something to do with controlling another person. He is also known as Wicked Eye, and is known to walk the battlefield, killing only using genjutsu. So it's safe to say that at least one of his abilities is genjutsu based, but the other still remains a mystery. Since his genjutsu was strong enough to kill, it's safe to say that Fugaku's normal genjutsu was near the likes of Tsukuyomi, if not on par with it. So it's not far-fetched to assume his Mangekyo genjutsu would be something near the likes of Kodo Amatsukami, albeit weaker like the genjutsu Obito used to control the perfect Jinchuriki Yagura. Since he is mostly a genjutsu fighter, it's safe to say that Fugaku's first ability is some Tsukuyomi variant due to his nickname after he received the Mangekyo. His second ability may be a control genjutsu that was either unlocked or is unknown to him. He does hint that he can't control a Jinchuriki without his Mangekyo, which could signify that one of his abilities is actually a control-based genjutsu, but that's just speculation. As for his Susanoo weapon, I theorize it would be Yasuka Magatama and some kind of thread weapon, considering he talks about binding the higher-ups. He doesn't have a special weapon like Shisui, Itachi, and Sasuke, so it's hard to say what his weapons could be. He is a stern man that shows very little emotion or affection to the point he seems unbreakable. So it's not too far-fetched to say he could have some omnidirectional shield or force field, maybe even a giant shuriken or some diamond-shaped projectiles, considering writers love to use what's on clothes sometimes to double over his weapons. Maybe he'd have some kind of cannons on his Susanoo. Maybe his weapons would have some sort of crazy abilities that match his personality, revealing something deeper that we didn't get to see displayed or maybe overlooked. There's so many possibilities since Fugaku's personality is so complex and we see so many different sides of him that it's hard to pinpoint which would be the most dominant choice for his weapon. Some potential ability names that fit his personality and life experiences that mesh well with Japanese mythology could be Omoikane, the deity of wisdom and intelligence who is always called upon to ponder and give good counsel in the deliberations of the heavenly deity. Fudo Myo, a fierce and wrathful wisdom king who protects all by burning away impediments and defilements and aiding them towards enlightenment. Jizo, a bodhisattva known as the protector of the vulnerable, especially children, travelers, and expectant mothers. He is also regarded as the patron deity of deceased children and aborted fetuses, and the savior of hell beings. His statues are a common sight, especially by roadsides and in graveyards. Kanon, a bodhisattva associated with compassion, commonly known in English as the goddess of mercy. Bishmonten, also called Bishmon or Tamoten. He is the god of fortunate warriors and guards, as well as the punisher of criminals, said to live halfway down the side of Mount Sumeru. The small pagoda he carries symbolizes the divine treasure house that he both guards and gives away its contents. Fukurokju, often confused with Jirojin, he is the god of wisdom and longevity and said to be an incarnation of the southern pole star. He is a star god accompanied by a crane and a turtle, which are considered to be symbols of longevity, and also sometimes accompanied by a black deer. The sacred book tied to his staff is said to contain the lifespan of every person on Earth. Hote, best known in the Western world as the Laughing Buddha. Hote is likely the most popular of the gods. His image graces many temples, restaurants, and amulets. Originally based on a Chinese Chan monk, Hote has become a deity of contentment and abundance. Ho Musubi, also called Kagusuchi or Hinokami, in the Shinto religion of Japan, a god of fire. His mother, the female creator Izanami, was fatally burned giving birth to him, and his father, Izanagi, cut him into pieces, creating several new gods. Hachimon is the ancient Shinto god or kami of war, divination, and culture. Manojak, a small demon that instigates people into wickedness. Baku, a spirit, supernatural being that devours dreams and nightmares. Onryo, a vengeful ghost formed from powerful feelings like rage or sorrow. Yomi, the land of the dead. Akumi, which means nightmare. Now, these are just some names based on my extensive research of the character and Japanese folklore in Shinto and Buddhist mythology. I hope you guys enjoyed my theory and appreciated my crazy concoctions for this character. Let me know your own theories in the comments down below. You don't have to take what I said as law or anything. I'm not claiming that most of this is set in stone. They're just my observations and theories. Like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, until next time, stay lazy.